Welcome to You Are Your Name. My name is Daken Ariel, and my co-host is Marlowe Shearing. And we have a special guest, Lorenda Bardell, to discuss mental balance. This is our second episode on the topic. Thank you for joining us, Lorenda.
Thank you for having me, Daken.
So the question today is, how can we develop a greater awareness of the power of thought?
Well, first of all, mental balance is really about mental freedom. And mental freedom is when the mind is at peace, relaxed, happy, stable, at one with one's purpose, and living according to the natural laws of living. It comes from having a name that's in harmony with one's birth path, determined from the date of birth. And freedom is a concept of mind and is attained through gradual development of universal understanding, being able to see life as it really is, not from personal opinions or emotion, but from a universal perspective. And that is the Kabbalion way. And it takes much analysis and perceptivity to see life for its reason of being and where we fit into life. Now, how can we develop a greater awareness of the power of thought? Well, what is the power of thought? Every thought any of us think is composed of language, and every thought is vibration or energy that flows out and is either expressed constructively or negatively. We speak of the power of the word, yet mankind has yet to perceive what that really means. Take the example of someone who speaks with kindness and calmness as compared to someone who speaks with anger and swear words. The energies are quite different. They both have an influential power to create love or hate. We are influenced every day by the power of the word through the media, through world news, advertising, entertainment. So it's important to become more aware of the power of thought expressed in words as we start to perceive the subtleties and how words can affect the freedom of our thinking. Rage bait is the latest word in 2026 to be added to the Oxford Dictionary. And it is online content of posts, videos, and articles deliberately designed to provoke anger, frustration, or outrage, to drive clicks, comments, and shares. By leveraging negative emotions and triggering high engagement, this often called rage farming boosts visibility on social media algorithms. So where will this end? What is the power of thought behind this concept? Will it bring spiritual enlightenment? Will it bring peace of mind in others and love for one another? No, when you really look at the subtlety of it, it is geared to bring out the worst in others, the hatred, the intolerance, depression. There's no love, understanding, and togetherness. True mental freedom is searching for the true understanding of life, and where mankind, with his ability to think, analyze, and ponder, should find a better life based on truth and principles that apply to all. So, a few examples of the power of the word. We could look at politics, and everybody agrees we see dishonesty, we see graft, many times corruption, mismanagement, confusion of ideals, redundancy, waste. And economics, we see inflation, many times false advertising, unjust taxation, and unfair business practices. We look at entertainment, we look at movies and gaming. And when you see some of these games, they're about killing the enemy to trap minds in the world of emotion. And again, it's hatred of one another. So the Kabbalion philosophy teaches that the mind to be free must have standards and ethics of right thinking to live by. First of all, to recognize that a balanced mind is created by a balanced name. To live a healthy lifestyle, to create a vital physical body, and then an environment that exemplifies balanced, happy, and stable living conditions. A pattern of education that explains the basic principles of life and each person's relationship to life, defining a logical pattern of living to allow the inner purpose of every human being to become a reality. And standards in mind of mental integrity, of honesty, of truthfulness, kindness, love and understanding, patience, tolerance, perseverance, logic, sincerity, and an ideal of spiritual service implanted early in life and encouraged through spiritual training.
I had a thought relative to the power of the word. They do muscle testing, and then they ask you to say a lie, and then all of a sudden your muscles are weaker. So it's interesting that the mind, even though it knows it's saying a lie, the body responds. And so it's interesting how the energy drops in the physical body when the mind is negative. So it's just sort of related to that, just the power of the word, that even just saying a lie actually diminishes your energy capacity. You discussed thought as a vibration or energy, and that obviously there's a duality to thought, positive and negative. And so the understanding of the principles of thought, or really the principles of mental freedom, really are to learn to express mind at a more positive and higher level. How do we lift our thinking to make it more positive?
Lorenda related the concept of standards, and I remember when in high school they showed a war movie on the screen and the teacher shut it off, and he said how no one reacted, and it was a real film of the war. And he said that's really a sad state of humanity, because now we're immune to the reality and the harshness. And so those standards of mind, we have to create within ourselves. And it's a choice then of what thoughts we think and what books we'll read, what movies. And then we're creating a concept beyond those feelings and reactions. We're developing a choice of thought of becoming, as Lorenda said, more universal, constructive, even that consistent level of happiness and care and concern for others shows more awareness of the power of thought.
Most people don't think about the power of thought. We just have a thought, we think something, we say it, and we don't really consider that is a vibration that goes out, affects people, and we wonder about all the turmoil in the world. And it's a result of the power of thought being used in a negative way. Now, we've got lots of people in the world that live constructive lives, and that adds to that positive energy. And there's many people that see what's really taking place in the world and want to do something about it. They see the truth. Again, that's what we're looking for. What is the truth of life? What is the truth of thought? In the Kepplerian philosophy, we realize that to have that really constructive ability, that our thoughts are always on the positive plane, it requires first an understanding of ourselves and our potential, the measurement of our date of birth. What should we really be doing? Everything in this life has a purpose, and we have a purpose as well. And we have to realize that even though our name that we were given haphazardly, nobody understands really about the power of a name, and that that name creates a particular influence, thought patterns in our life, positive and negative, and all of that can be changed to create greater balance. And this is what the Kepplerian philosophy teaches.
Relating the power of the word back to balance name, why is that so important?
Well, that lays the foundation of a balanced life. It's the start. And it's really important. Everyone is born into emotion, you could say, and it takes time for the mind to develop. And a child is as nothing without a name. A name gives its link to mind and thought. And that name has to be balanced to that inner potential. And then there has to be spiritual training to understand how to live a life that is going to create what we want. There are steps that we can take and plan our life in such a way that the things that are needed in our life to grow and develop to fulfill a spiritual purpose will be there, and we think them into being through using basic principles.
One of the principles, besides the balance name, that Keplerian students use is the Cyclic Law. Just as the name creates the mind, the cycles actually are a changing pattern that the mind is immersed in. And so if you're in a one cycle, you feel the one quality of thoughts. So you're going to have this desire to initiate, to be a leader. But if there isn't the balance in the name, then it's going to come out emotionally. So it becomes more belligerent, more dominant. And so just by understanding your cycles and understanding the duality of positive and negative thought, you can actually channel your mind to be more positive by understanding those qualities.
The Kabbalion philosophy teaches a universal principle, the truth of life, the purpose of the earth, the purpose of every living thing, the purpose of every person. And it's all based on universal principles that apply to everybody, regardless where we live in the world, what language we use. These principles can be applied to create beautiful changes in life and to really, truly understand what we are meant to be doing in this world. It would make the world such a better place if these principles were applied worldwide.
Thank you, Lorenda. Appreciate your thoughts. So that concludes our episode for today. We hope to see you next week. Until then, happy thoughts.
Whenever you're ready, here are 3 ways we can help you. Number 1, the Balanced Name Recommendation Service. Join the thousands of others who have harmonized their names with their inner potential to improve their health, happiness, and success. Number 2, learn the principles of mental freedom. Participate in our online training program to gain the essential tools to create all the progressive changes you seek in your life. These proven truths will open up new perspectives and accelerate your attainment of health, happiness, and success. Number 3, let Kalex Solutions help you choose a balanced name for your business, because many business names are an impediment to one's overall business success.